he talks about 3 reasons why he's sending this guy, his beloved brother Tychicus, to visit the Ephesians. And I want to just look about these 3 reasons here. So I'm going to read 21 and 22. Ephesians 6, 21 and 22. But that you also may know about my circumstances, how I am doing. Tychicus, the beloved brother and faithful minister in the Lord, will make everything known to you. I have sent him to you for this very purpose, so that you may know about us, and that he may comfort your hearts. So, within those 2 little verses, I think 3 reasons, and I want to give that as sort of a charge for us to keep during our Christmas visits with family and friends. I know some of you have already started. This is a season, there's lots of gatherings, and every day or every weekend, every moment, there's another time to gather with people. And I think we can glean from this something for what this could look like for our visits with family and friends during Christmas. So just from their perspective, first of all, the 3 reasons that Paul sent Tychicus to the Ephesians. The first reason was to update the Ephesians on Paul's life. He says, he's going to tell you everything that I've been doing. Okay, here's the details. He went here, he saw this, he preached the gospel here, he started a church here, this church is doing well, this church isn't doing well. These are all the details. It's just filling in on life. All right? Now the second reason he sent them is subtly different, but I believe important difference to highlight here. The second reason that Paul sent Tychicus was this, to update the Ephesians on Paul and how his co-workers are doing. How they're doing, not what they're doing. So there's a difference between telling you what I'm doing and telling you how I'm doing. For example, you can say, well, what are you doing? I'm making Christmas cookies. That's what I'm doing. I'm making Christmas cookies. Well, how am I doing? Well, I'm stressed out because no one is helping me and I just burned a batch. That's how I'm doing. Right? They're 2 very different messages. You need to know what's going on in someone's life, but also, like, how is that affecting them? Is it a joyful thing or not? And sometimes we're afraid to ask that question. I know sort of culturally there's that sort of, hey, how are you? Right? It just kind of rolls off the tongue. But we don't really mean it, and we don't really expect a response. But the thing about these Christmas gatherings is that for a glimmer of time, life slows down a little bit, and we can actually mean it when we ask that question. We can ask, how are you? And we can have the time to hear the response. So those are the 2. And then the third, Paul says at the end of verse 22, that Tychicus, he's visiting the Ephesians in order to comfort their hearts. In order to comfort their hearts. So it's got me thinking about, we have a lot of technology these days. More and more, where you are doesn't matter. It's easier to work from home. You can work just about anywhere as long as you have access to a computer, Wi-Fi, cell phone. You can do a lot of stuff without you don't have to report at a certain location or geography. So why is it that this time of year so many people travel so many miles so they can be home? This mysterious place we call home. What is the value of that, just of being together? So why don't we just, text someone a text or video conference, which happens sometimes when your loved ones live far away and you can't get with them. The fact that we have the technology of video conferencing is amazing. You can still see them and interact in some way. But why is in-person different? Why do we make all that effort to be in person? And I would say it's because as humans, we are actually designed by God to be with other humans. And as much as we have all this technology that allows us to communicate, it is designed, you think about all the technology we have, a lot of it is designed to make our communication better or more effective or easier to happen. It's all about communicating with other humans. And at the same time, it's not a replacement. It's like, yeah, that's nice. I've been working on the international trip with Year on Mission and talking with a friend of ours, Katka, in the Czech Republic. And so we can Skype with her and we can all see each other and talk together. Half the team's in Rochester, half the team's in Whitewater. She's in the Czech Republic. We can all talk together, but it's not the same thing as sitting in the same room and actually figuring things out. And so that technology is a good thing, but there's a sense of comfort of being together, of being with other humans. So that's why I'm glad for like all the teaching and technology that's available out there, even in growing in your faith. But I will never call listening to an online sermon going to church. It's good, it's valuable, but it's not the same thing as us fellowshipping together in a room together. I would also say that being in a chat room is not the same thing as being in a living room. There are values in a chat room. You can learn things and interact with people. It can be helpful, but it's not the same thing. And in a sense, if we start to call them the same thing, what we're doing is we're dehumanizing ourselves. We're not acknowledging the human character that we are, and that God has designed us as humans to be with one another. And intrinsically, we know this because that's why all this travel happens over Christmas, right? Why are we going miles and miles and miles to go be with people? Because we know that it's different. And so I guess I want us to remember that, or to bring it to the conscious level this morning. Because look at what Paul did. He didn't just send the letter. He sent it with a personal messenger. He didn't just put it in post. Well, they didn't have that, but he could have, found some caravan and, hey, can you drop this off to Ephesus on the way? And the Ephesians didn't just kind of send for it like a guy delivering a message and then send Tychicus on his way, but he actually remained with them. So Tychicus came and said, hey, I brought a letter from Paul, and here, give it to you. And like, oh, welcome, come on in. And he stayed with them, and he shared stories. I mean, the things that Paul just mentioned, he's going to tell you how I am and about my circumstances. I mean, I can picture days and meals and late nights and just time together, just socializing and sharing. That's what was happening. That's not in the letter. The letter is actually just a bonus. The real joy is Tychicus coming to be with them and encourage them. I'm so glad that Paul wrote the letter, because that's what we have. Tychicus died. He's no longer, but we still have Paul's letter. But that we can't kind of grasp onto the letter. Remember that it's the person. And as he came and delivered not just stories, but also prayers and hugs with one another. They ate together. They remembered Jesus together. That is what happened in person. So this is my encouragement then for us during our various Christmas gatherings. If you take those three things and then apply them to ourselves. First of all, let's take some time and get updated on people's lives. A lot of times that people we're going to be gathering with, we don't see them very often. Maybe it's once a year. Maybe we haven't seen them since summer. Or I don't know how long it's been. So, let's find out what's been going on in your life. And take some time to ask that question and explore that. But secondly, let's not only ask what's been going on, but how things have been going. And take the time to really mean when we ask, how are you, to really want an answer. And let's take the time to do that. And then thirdly, let's be people who bring tidings of great joy. Let's be the people who bring comfort and peace and joy that Jesus has given to us. As we've received that, we can pass that on to others. So think about what would a family gathering look like if none of those things happen? And maybe some of you can picture your own family gatherings and what that looks like. Maybe it's just playing games and watching TV, but not actually talking about real life. It's just kind of like being in the same room together for a while, refusing to talk about religion or politics or anything else that might be controversial. Don't ask about your life because this was bad and I don't want to bring this up. You're not eating right. Your relationships are terrible. So let's just not talk about anything and just watch a movie. Maybe, I know I've seen this. I've seen this in my gatherings I've been at. Or maybe we only talk about the good things that happened this year, like Christmas letters, right? This is good, and this is good, and we went on this amazing vacation, and here's all my kids, and they all look really happy. And you don't see the other 364 days of the year when it's a mess, and it took us 4 days to clean the house before we took the picture that makes it look so good that we sent out to everybody. And that's fine. I don't think you should necessarily write a Christmas card and talk about how your life sucks. I don't think that's the point of Christmas cards. But to be real when we're in person and to share with one another. So that picture of what a family gathering looks like, unfortunately, I think we've probably, maybe not family, maybe it's friend gathering, we've probably all experienced something like that. But now picture with me a family gathering where there's much laughter and joy, Yeah, maybe it is around games or a puzzle or working together in the kitchen. But along with that, there's a sense of sharing. Picture sitting around in a family meal. It happens at least sometime during Christmas gathering. There's some sort of meal that happens together. And it could look really different. But picture what that might look like if everyone is just sharing maybe a little, like, what can we do on Wednesdays? Like a highlight and a challenge of the year. Something, so you're kind of real about what's going on in life. Imagine older ones encouraging the younger ones, and younger ones inspiring the older ones by sharing personal stories of courage and accomplishments and faith. Imagine everyone heading home afterwards being full, not just of their stomachs, but of their hearts as well. I know what kind of a Christmas I want to have, what kind of gatherings I want to have, and I'm guessing I know what kind you'd like to have too. And so I want to close our time here just by praying for these gatherings that we're going to be entering into. Again, some of you might have had some already.